Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we gaze into the glorious wonder that is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, one trans-dimensional minute at a time. The only question is, are we in your dimension? I'm the Admiral, Pete Mummert.
I am Tom Taylor.
I'm Gerald Christopher Marcus Porter.
And that silence you hear is the smart member of the Indiana Jones Minute.
I was thinking.
The woman who could beat us all in a battle of wits with her entire brain tied behind her back, Christy Porter.
Hi there. Hi, everybody. It's very nice to be here.
Oh, hey, Christy.
Yeah, you didn't see me there.
Oh, welcome.
Hi.
No.
Hi, fellas.
You're almost always our first guest when we start off a new season.
What do you mean almost?
Yeah.
Well, the very first season, our first guests were, the Star Wars Minute crew.
We're not worthy.
And,
That's
I
true.
felt like,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's only
Is
fitting.
Christy really a guest? I wouldn't call
Well,
Christy a
look,
guest.
let's
She's like our
be
cousin that comes over for like the
Yeah.
holidays.
Right, but those
but-
off the shoulder holidays like Labor Day.
President's Day.
This is actually her apartment that we're staying in, but she's out of town a lot.
That's
Yeah.
And we just stay here.
She comes
And
home
shows up.
periodically and
Good-
is like, "What are you
good
guys doing in
point.
my house?"
yeah.
Yeah.
No pets.
Well, I remember like when we first started this, and I said to myself, I said to you fellers, I said, you know what? We could get my sister on as a guest. She can't say no. She's my sister. But what we'll do is we'll make it like a big thing because, we'll call her like a professor. She's actually a professor of psychology. So that will somehow seem like it's like a
they
thing.
got a professor.
Like legit.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll downplay the sister thing.
Right.
And we'll just go,
that's in-
that's
That's in 2017 minutes. Currency right there. That's what that is.
Professor Christy. It's
Yeah. Well, we can't all be.
kind of how the whole
Thanks.
thing got started.
Yep. Well, we're thrilled that you're with us today, Christy. We're very excited. And today we're talking about minute 4 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And that's really hard to say. And minute 4 begins with an all-American Army colonel stepping out of his car to approach the guardhouse. And it ends with a man being pulled out of a car trunk, Joe Pesci style. And I like that the script here starts with a good old-fashioned Last Crusade fake-out.
Yes.
Like it says the colonel steps out of the front passenger seat. He's huge. He must go 260, all muscle, a real son of a bitch. Good thing he's on our side.
Oh, wow.
Even the screenplay is trying to mess with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or had they not read it?
Well, so the gate guard says, "I'm afraid that goes for you too, Colonel, sir." And I'm wondering, so does the guard recognize the colonel?
That's an excellent question.
Like,
I think he just recognizes the
bird.
Yeah,
the egg salad, whatever on his
Yeah.
yeah, the egg salad.
Scrambled eggs. What do they call it? The stuff, his insignia, his rank, his
Yeah.
things.
That's right.
Accoutrement.
Accoutrement. That's right.
And I'm not an expert on military uniforms, so I'm curious because their uniforms are very different than the MPs, and they're also very different. Like several different members of this Russian Secret Services team have different uniforms from each other.
Oh,
I noticed
I'm-
that.
did you?
I'm wondering where they got the uniforms.
I totally
Yeah.
didn't notice any part of it. I thought guys arriving would have different uniforms.
Well, the other thing I wondered is there's 2 guys in the background who actually don't salute. Like they're kind of walking. And and I was wondering, what is the
You're right.
protocol for saluting? Like if how far away do you have to be? Like if
Yeah, it's
you're
a
20 feet
10-foot
away.
radius.
Exactly. Like,
But
the
what
first,
if you have a line of like 300 men? Is it like a domino thing where each guy back has to salute when he sees the guy in front of him salute? Like, does it just keep going
Oh.
until it salutes all around the world?
Yeah, because you look,
think
there's
That sounds really inefficient. I don't know.
salutes
Yeah.
around the world.
So maybe you don't have to salute if you're in motion.
I was gonna say, like, if you clearly have a duty that you're performing, like that guy's kind of, like manning the
I'm walking
the
here.
gate that's open
I
anyway.
can't
so-
salute.
Yeah, I'm walking here.
Walking.
How am I supposed to salute and walk? I haven't gotten to that part of basic training.
But did you guys notice how? Wait, did you notice how good those guys how well those guys saluted? Those guys saluted.
It was a real good
beautifully.
salute.
It was super.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
super good.
crisp.
It is.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet you we have a guy who might be able to answer this question.
John
Brent.
Do we?
Who? What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Really?
Well, John Brew can answer any question, but this one I'm looking at you, Brent. You're hiding in the back row.
Okay.
What's the protocol on saluting? Yeah, just get back to us when you can.
Yeah.
when you're on furlough or something.
I have to say that the lighting in this scene really, really bothers me.
Oh,
Why?
thank you for saying that, Pete.
It looks like it's filmed against a green screen almost. Like, I don't know if they just have those big light reflecting things in front of everybody, but it looks crazy. It doesn't look like a natural scene.
Are you talking like when the guns come out and he's tying his shoe
Right before
and
them,
stuff
too, when you see Dovchenko, like kind of just looking at him, like it looks so fake. It looks just bizarre.
There's
like it's
a
almost
lot
like
of that
CGI.
in this movie. Yeah, like it's like everything's really brightly, sharply lit from right in front of them or something, so that they're almost separate from the background or something. Yeah, it's there's a lot of that.
So it
in
makes
this movie.
the background look real fake. So that's my question. So I thought it was a real scene in this minute, but in other minutes I'm not so sure. In other minutes it looks green screeny.
In fact, I think a lot of these scenes that people thought were CGI are actually real scenes. Some of them have some CGI elements, but it's just, I think it's some really unusual cinematography, and it's definitely not the Douglas Slocum we've gotten.
Right. We were talking before how we got a different director of photography now, so I'm wondering if it's, and he's a good guy, he's a talented guy, he did Schindler's List and a bunch of awesome stuff, but you wonder if, does this look bad or does it just look sort of striking? And it's and not quite real, which is distracting, so that equals bad.
Well, to me, it looks not like Indiana Jones, so that's hard for me.
Is it like it's kind of got like a dirty golden brown hue to it? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that's not the problem.
No, it's the lighting. It's like
the lighting. It's
the
too
lighting
harsh.
on the characters is so bright; it doesn't match the background.
I see.
Lighting. And it looks really strange.
And it's hard, you can't tell anymore, but it looks like digitally touched up or something. There's something like unreal happening. It's and I can't tell if it's just a trick of the lighting or if that's actually what's going on.
Well, maybe that's just foreshadowing of the supernatural nature.
Yes,
there you go.
The plot. Yes, there's
spoiler alert!
Like...
Thanks. I don't know what happens in this movie. I've never seen this movie.
Oh yeah.
Wait a
Christy
minute.
hasn't watched it yet.
Wait. Oh, you haven't seen? Oh, I remember when I hadn't seen it.
We should say Jerry has since minute 3. Jerry's finally watched the whole movie.
Since minute 3,
don't give it away, fellas, because
I already gave something away that I should take back. We don't know yet that these are not American soldiers getting out of these cars.
Not American soldiers.
What?
They did just gun down a bunch of American dudes.
Well, they do now. One thing I
Excellent.
like is you see Colonel Dovchenko, his name tag reads Truman.
What?
And all of the Russian soldiers in this special unit have names of American presidents.
That's
that's funny.
Oh, that's really interesting.
These people really couldn't pay attention to details then. They're like, hey, what are the chances?
The only Americans the Russians had heard of were presidents.
Well, I know,
So
but wouldn't you think
names
that
they
the
had to go
guys
on.
saluting them would be like, wait a minute?
Not that Truman.
Not that.
Truman? Hoover? Roosevelt? What's going on here?
Wow.
But do the MPs not see the guys standing behind?
Well, see, I have a
Colonel
theory.
Dovchenko?
This is catered to you, Pete.
Okay.
So the colonel gets out of the car alone. But,
Yeah.
of course, when he ducks down, we see 4 guys standing behind him. And I think that there's 2 theories here. One, I think the colonel is a real-life Russian doll. First of all, he's
nesting soldiers.
Yes, they're nesting soldiers. He's the tallest of all of them. And if you look closely, the little, sort of baby soldiers come out. They're all consecutively smaller. I think that's kind of why they took that sort of cultural craft that is the Russian doll, and it's part of their military. I mean, I think the Soviets were very crafty back then,
You can
Or wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is this just a callback? Wait, is this just a callback to Last Crusade and the bridge? And if the MPs had just tilted their head to one side or the other, they would have seen a line of armed guards behind.
Oh, wow.
Or are you ready? This is really for you. I love you, Pete. This is really for you. It's a callback, all right, because the Russians are sand people who travel single file to hide their numbers.
Could be. Single file behind the tallest guy to hide their numbers.
Well, although, Jerry, I love you, but sand people, I think, is considered an offensive term.
Oh,
you sick
oh,
racist.
is it now? They're
Oh.
Tuscan Raiders. Tuscan Raiders.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
that's also considered offensive.
What?
Oh, is it really?
Really?
Yeah.
What are we
Well, what-
supposed
Native
what are they?
Tatooiners is the
Sure.
Yeah.
our brothers at the Star
Native-
Wars Minute. They've adopted the
Oh,
term
geez.
Native Tatooiners. That's
native
fair.
Tatooiners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does one say Tatooine?
Are they even native though? We don't know.
We don't know. Although one thing I think is funny is that the guy, I don't know how you pronounce his name, Igor Zhizhikine or Yigikine, the guy that plays Dovchenko,
Oh, yeah.
was both in the Russian military, and then later he was a high wire trapeze artist in Cirque du Soleil.
Well, that's just
wow.
a
So
cliche.
I like that maybe
right
this is part of
there.
his circus act. Yeah.
Happens all the time.
It's like a complete Cirque du Soleil thing where the smaller
Yeah.
guys keep popping up behind him. But I also like, because we don't get the standalone adventure at the beginning of this like we
No,
do in the other three
that's
movies,
right.
which kind of bothers me. But we do get the way they all kind of sashay out from behind him. It's a little bit like the dancers in Club Obi-Wan. Like they're all very
Yeah.
theatrical and they're
Pete,
almost
you
like
got a
dance
lot
steps
out
before
of
they shoot.
this particular
Yeah.
couple of seconds
Well,
here.
they're just cramming these minutes with references to other Indiana Jones movies that you will only
Mhm.
notice if you're forced to sit here 1 minute and watch them back.
Well, this one is a little funky because unless these guys are hanging on to the colonel's back like some kind of possum, like there's 4 little possums hanging onto his back. This one actually makes no sense at all. I mean, I like
Right, 'cause
how
it-
it's shot. I like how they do it. I like that it's an
Right.
ambush, and you're like, you as the viewer is ambushed, but you're like, this wouldn't work. This just wouldn't
Well,
work.
because the sergeant, there are guys on both sides. There are MPs on both sides of the sergeant
Yeah.
who would be seeing
That's
it from
exactly
a side
right.
angle.
That's exactly right.
Could it just be that it's a surprise for us, the audience, because we don't see those guys walking behind him, but to anybody in the scene, they would just see guards behind the general, and the surprise is that they start shooting at them. It's not that they're there.
Well,
Except
actually,
they're going
it's not
nuts.
like they're completely hidden. It's not like a complete Russian doll thing, because you can kind of see them.
No,
our
you
point of
can't.
view,
You know,
like-
you can't.
like-
From our point of view, you can't see them at all. I'm looking at it. You
Until he ducks
cannot-
down.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
ties his shoe, and that's
That's a nice
Lucky for
move.
him, his shoe was untied.
Yeah.
He would've
Yeah.
been killed.
Yeah, because he actually ties that shoe, and we know that because they spend some time showing us the shoe tying.
yeah.
What if that wasn't even
Despite the
part of
fact
his
that they're-
thing? Like he wasn't dropping down for that. He was just like, "Oh, this is happening now." Meanwhile, my shoe.
Yeah, this was actually the plan for the Russians to all mutiny because they all wanted to be hot rod drivers.
yeah. Yeah.
Oops, who we missed.
I actually, you know,
Let's find out what we got.
Right.
There.
So I don't think the hot rod drivers actually counts as a standalone adventure. I don't.
No.
I'm just gonna
No.
say it
yeah,
right now.
no,
Yeah,
Just-
no,
I
the
agree.
hot rod.
There are no indigenous people or anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So no.
There's a thing in here right after they gun everybody down and they're dragging the guys off. I can't tell if it's supposed to be like a gag or something. They pan over to the sign, restricted area, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Use of deadly force authorized.
Yes.
Is that like, get it? Everybody just
I don't
got
know. I
killed
didn't catch
with
that.
deadly force.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was kind of useless myself.
Well,
but I'm the humorless one of the band, so you know.
No, I'm with you,
Yeah,
Tommy.
no
That's a
sense of
good
humor.
point. I mean, it does
Yeah,
two things.
I like
One, you know that they're not they may not be pulling up to a base, just any old regular base. You're like, that's sort of
Right.
a sign that is commonly associated with Area 51. So they sort of throw that out there a little foreshadowing, possibly. And then the other thing is,
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, it does have the old kind of Gagaruski.
Right.
Yeah. Which
right.
is, yeah.
And I do like that it's Hangar. You mentioned Area 51. I do like that it's Hangar 51. And I think it's a nod to both Area 51 and Hangar 18, which
I didn't see that. Wait a minute, is that
interested in UFOs?
Does it say that on the?
It's Hangar 51.
I didn't know.
Oh, that's
it says Hangar 51.
stupid.
Wait, is that in this minute?
That's what it says on the thing. Hangar 51.
It says Hangar 51, and I think it's Area 51 mixed with Hangar 18, which is the place at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. It's supposed to have the alien technology they salvaged in Roswell.
Oh, weird.
Really?
Yeah. So they're throwing a lot at us here. But I think that's just a little wink and a nod
much
at
that
the
it
audience.
might not even get recognized.
Wait, is Hangar 51 in this minute? I don't see it.
Yeah. No, it is.
Or is it next
is it not until... I thought it was. Yeah, I thought we see it when you see it on the side of the building.
Yeah, I think it's on the
side.
side
Yeah, but I didn't really
the
see the side of the building yet. I don't know. I mean,
Pete's TV
okay
is better
me.
than ours.
We skipped ahead to a second. I guess so.
Yeah, you see, it's on top of the building.
Wait, which building? What are you talking about?
The little guardhouse.
Oh, the guardhouse? But that's not a hangar.
It says Hangar 51 main gate.
Yeah.
Classified facility.
You're going to argue
United
with them?
States Air Force.
Oh.
They get to name their
so
own
that whole
hangars.
place is Hangar 51?
No, that's the entrance to Hangar
Yeah.
51.
No, but I'm
It says
saying
Hangar 51 main
the
gate.
place that they're going to is, is all just Hangar 51?
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
like, that's why it's
a
like
hangar's a building.
What?
I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
Indiana Jones a minute. We're here to take you by the hand and guide you in a logical and reliable way through this film. And you can trust us. We got it all buttoned down. But yeah, okay. So one thing you can't miss is this giant American flag that they specifically pan up over, and it takes up the whole screen for 20 seconds or something. And what are we taking? You can't shoot the American flag like that without it meaning something. So what are we?
I have that exact question.
I
it looks very Saving Private
too.
Ryan. And it looks like a scene like right out of Saving Private Ryan. And it's also really, we get this driving music and you see military vehicles approaching the base, and it's got a very, I think for a minute, a very magical, almost, classic Spielberg feel. Yeah,
but is it like when you see something like that, it seems like the point is usually like there's like an irony there or something, like
right.
Yes.
Like if these were like hippies who had just blown up all these guys or something, it would have been like, America, this is what's going on or something.
Well, I think he's saying that we're under siege, and he's not. We may not know it yet.
I guess so.
This is like the first shots in World War III.
I actually wrote down one word, and it's breach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, breach.
Yeah.
Which I think this is a great shot. I really like the flag sort of fluttering into view, and it is.
Uh-huh.
It's a nice Spielberg minute there, and they're traveling. If you notice, the convoy is traveling single file still. So I think that when they get to the next hangar or whatever it is, they're gonna all pop out again and scare everybody. He's like, "Hey!"
What is a one-lane road?
True.
So do we think that the flag is ironic or not ironic?
I think it's just sort of a sense of impending dread.
Yes.
Like we know something's not right here, and we see the American flag, and I wonder if we still think that these are like a group of Americans gone rogue, or is America under attack?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I feel
because all we know now is some soldiers at a base have been killed,
and it's
there are no flags in any other Indiana Jones movies, right?
Not American ones.
There are Nazi ones galore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I mean, when we go, when we have fools, bureaucratic fools, that's actually pretty. That's throwing some shade.
Well, that's just the flag of hypocrisy. Is what's being flown. No, but here it's that's what comes to mind. Under siege. There's an American base under siege. A breach at Hangar 51, and it's impending doom.
I knew that without the flag. Sorry, knew it without the flag.
Thank you, Chris. That's kind of exactly what I'm thinking. Like I don't think we need that. That kind of, I mean, it's both heavy-handed and completely confusing at the same time. This flag shot.
I guess, but if you just watch it nice, the music's beautiful and it's a gorgeous sort of, the camera pans up. I think it's a nice shot.
That doesn't mean it needs to be in the movie, though. I mean, it is a little confusing to me. Like every time I see it, I'm like, is this a commentary on what happens when archaeologists get kidnapped by Russians and are taken to a military base? We all have to think about that in our own terms.
Hippies?
Well, we know this is a different kind of Indiana Jones movie because he's no longer a rogue archaeologist, which we'll find. Well, I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah.
So I don't know that.
Okay.
A, and B, we know it's a different kind of Indiana Jones movie because we don't have the independent vignette at the beginning,
right?
And we also have harsh lighting.
No, we also have.
See, I'm taking notes over here. I'm figuring it out.
A CGI prairie dog. That's like, I'm gonna give you a knuckle sandwich.
Oh my word! Okay.
Wait, did you not even watch the previous 3 minutes?
I did watch.
You only watched these 3 minutes?
I was on your previous 3 minutes, bonehead.
What?
I mean,
no, not the 3 movies. The 3 minutes before.
I
just got yelled at by Christy. What happened?
She's the psychologist.
Awesome.
You misheard
I'm a guest in your apartment. What are you doing?
Pete, I'm sorry. Can you please edit that out? I didn't mean to call names. I'm
No,
sorry.
absolutely not. I love that. That was beautiful.
I'm sorry.
I've been through it before.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did watch them. I wasn't on them, but I did watch them. Now I'm up to Now I'm up to minute 6.
All I wanted to know.
I know. Now I'm up to minute 6. So I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good now. Okay.
All right.
Moving on.
Clearly.
Sorry.
Well, as we move on, the convoy comes up to the main doors of the hangar, and a guy gets a couple of soldiers jump out, and they pull Ray Winstone out of the trunk here.
That's a stupid name.
And I just want to say right here, I think Mac is hands down my least favorite character in Indiana Jones movie, period.
Wow.
That is sad and understandable. It's sad because he could be great.
I agree.
And I've only seen Ray Winstone in a couple of movies, but he's been awesome in whatever I've seen him in. And he's he's a nice presence, and we'll talk about it more in a minute or so, but I like the initial dynamic between him and Indy, but his character's wait.
Yeah. I need to just unpack this, and this isn't like a little a little purse or man purse or satchel.
That's a merce, huh?
Pete, you said
you have a duffel.
Yeah, I mean, Pete, you said this is like a cargo ship. We need you said that Mac. By the way, I had to double check his name myself. You said that Mac is your least favorite character of any Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah, hands down.
Really?
Like I cringe just every time he's
now is that just like you see him right now in minute 4 and you're like, oh, that guy's the wrong guy? Or are you talking about just throughout?
I think because I've seen the whole movie. Unlike Christy Porter, but I can't see him without thinking.
Well, not
of the
looking
rest
forward
of
to it.
Yeah.
Well, Mac anyway. I'm not
maybe you'll love him. Maybe I'm alone on Earth.
No, he's weird. He's weird, but I can't imagine that he's the worst ever. I mean, we have people from Temple of Doom that I would not. I mean, there's Colonel What's His Nose from.
I love Colonel What's His Nose.
Blumberg.
Oh, okay.
I love Colonel Bloomberg.
There's the one. That's the one. I mean, what I like best about that character is that he's in The Shining. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite thing about him. But that's it.
Yeah.
I don't like that character.
Yeah.
Okay, so what don't you like about Mac?
Well, I'm going to have to hold off on most of that because most of it's coming up in later minutes.
That's a warning shot across the bow.
I'm just laying down my marker right here. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, speaking of laying down markers...
I guess we can end the show because Christy's right here.
Yeah. Wait a minute, coming in up.
Christy, do you have any beep,
over
beep,
the wires?
The
biggest, fattest.
She's actually regular sized again.
Billy Goat,
regular
sized.
Okay.
Oh my word.
Jerry just wanted to do his Gungan Boss Nass impersonation.
Yeah.
This movie's going to take forever.
I know,
Can we just acknowledge that?
Coming in over the wire, the big one. This just in from Mimi Porter Esquire. What is the etymology of Widow's Peak?
Wow.
Yeah, because the Colonel has a pretty pronounced widow's peak.
She kind of this just ended me. on that one.
Well, we knew that was
Is
coming.
she asking what the bug?
Yeah, I
Is
guess
there
so.
a bug on the widow's peak?
Well, she just says, "What is the etymology of it?" And here it comes with an answer.
Isn't that the study of insects?
Oh, I'm sorry, the etymology.
listeners.
Etymology.
Yeah, the etymology.
Damn it!
Dear
I thought
listeners,
there was a
write your
secret question in
answer,
here.
your best answer on a postcard, and send it to Jer.
I think the Billy Groat Gruff may want to go back to law school.
Yeah, really. May I approach the bench counselor?
I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
No idea.
The term
Etymology
or
or
the
entomology.
Yeah, the term stems from the belief that hair growing to a point on the forehead, suggestive of a widow's hood, is an omen of early widowhood.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Don't tell Dracula.
yeah. Didn't work. Well, I
Or
don't know.
widowerhood?
Yeah, widower.
It's not a widower's
Well,
peak.
does that mean your spouse is going to die, or
I'm
you're
not
going to
sure.
You know, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
die? Yeah, a big difference.
It does.
Huh.
But that's, I guess, widows
Huh.
used to wear a hood, and that hood had a peak. And so that was where it comes from, widow's peak.
So is this the kind of thing you had to go out and buy yourself? Like, oh, and I'm a widow and I got to go get a hood.
Gotta go buy a peak.
Or
Go to
it's
the
like,
most depressing store in town that only sells widow's hoods.
or you know what's even worse is when you get hand-me-downs.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you like,
Oh,
if
the
you
widow
got,
dies
if you get remarried,
and passes on her hood.
get remarried, you're like, nope, not gonna use this anymore. Here you go. Why don't you take it, Sarah?
Now, where did I put that widow's hood?
But my husband's not dead yet.
Give it time.
Yeah, look at his hair.
I bet you anything we've got
coming.
a store in Colonial Williamsburg that sells them. I bet you anything.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Or rents them. Even worse.
Yeah. They dip candles and sell widow's hoods. That's
I
it.
don't want to rent my widow's hood.
Well, speaking of not dead yet, thank you for joining us on this still kicking podcast, Christy. today.
Yay! Yay!
Yay.
Yay!
And listeners, thank you for joining us. We are excited to be back for our new season. And if you haven't yet, please check out our weekend show, our Patreon show at indianajonesminute.com/Patreon, where you can hear us talk about all kinds of things. Some other movies, a lot of Spielberg movies, and life, love, looting, you name it, we talk about it. So come check us out there, and come check us out here Wednesday for minute 5 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Question for you, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever fake tied your shoe?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Like
I can
like
see
the
you doing that all the
stall?
time,
Like,
actually.
for instance, you're about to
Yeah.
go into the
God,
elevator.
I need a minute to think. The thing was pretty full.
So the elevator's wide open, but you see some other guy, maybe a Cubs
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah, he's about to make conversation. You're like,
Yeah,
no,
you
you
go,
go
"Oh, my
ahead.
I get in
Go
there
ahead, I got it.
before
I
he
got
gets. I'll just let him take this one. I got to tie my shoe, and then I'll just get the next one and just pray to God it's empty.
it. And then you end up being 3.5 hours late for work.
Yeah, that's worth it.